healing and things like that, because you start to work both in the visual and in the biological area. So having been here, we move to that, and these are the parts of the body that radiates the most amount of light. And it's a little bit surprising maybe that it's actually in the chakra points in Indian philosophy where we have the brightest areas of our body illuminating. And if we think back, I was giving this lecture in Denmark a while ago, and I've heard Michael tell a lot of times that the light that comes, for instance, from the solar plexus or from the forehead, it's approximately 2,000 times too weak for us to see. But after my presentation, physician took me aside and said, that's not really correct what you're saying, because the retina can sense one photon. If you emit one photon, it can actually sense it. Maybe not sense it as a point of light or a spotlight or anything, but if you are standing, as he told to me, if you go to Roskilde and I light a candle down there and you are standing in Copenhagen, which is 45 kilometers away, there will actually be approximately one photon getting all the way to Copenhagen, and your retina will be able to detect it. So his statement is actually that we somehow can sense it. We may not be able to see it like a spot or like a visual of light, but we can actually feel it or sense it, the light that is transmitting. Because we are working with, we are working with these areas, and we are working with counts per second. These are some of the very first pictures taken where you put this person into a dark room and you shut off all the light and you take the high sensitivity camera in, and you see this person is emanating a lot of light from his throat, which is one of the chakra points. And if you photo him on the back, he's actually emanating from the neck also. And looking at the hands and the wrists, it's much more powerful than the body, and in general the arms and the upper body is more illuminating or radiating more light than the other parts of the body. So it's not any mumbo jumbo. It's actually true that inside our body we're all generating light. And as I just talked to Gudjon during the break, that when we saw this statistics that you presented a little while ago to us about the winter depression rate in the United States, which was approximately double the amount of winter depression in Iceland, or SAD syndrome in Iceland. Maybe it's because you're a little bit more spiritual than the Americans, because I went to a meditation class in London once where we had a light meditation, and the guru there told us that we all carry the light inside. You don't need that much of light. If you live in dark places, you can actually find the light inside yourself. And maybe you guys are a little better finding the light inside you than the Americans are, because they live in a big city like New York, and they are busy and career people and all that, and you live extremely close to nature, very rough nature and very exposed to nature. So maybe you are just better at finding your inner light, because now we know it's there. It's not just some phony belief that we carry the light inside, but we really do. And these are some of the statistics made by the students, where you see 32 test persons were into the lab, and the CPS is count per seconds. And if we take the right side of the abdomen, approximately here, we see that's a pretty low area of radiation, but still it's close. There's not that much spread. It's a straight line. If we look at the cheek on the right side of our face, it has a much brighter radiation, and actually the palm of the right hand is more than 4 times as powerful as the right side of the abdomen. So statistically, a lot of tests has been done on which part of the body radiates light. So what makes me think about this is that when my children were small and my son had a headache, or he would lie in his bed and feeling bad, I would normally go in there and put my palm on his forehead and sit next to him and tell him, you're going to be fine, no problem, you don't need any medicine, we're going to cure you here. And maybe that was what I did. If I modulated the light coming from my palm on his forehead, maybe I could send some information with modulated light like we do in any optical fibers to transmit to him that he would be well in a little while. The same if he had a stomach ache, I would instinctively put my hand on his solar plexus and just to tell him that your stomach will be fine in a little while. And isn't that what we do, all of us, that we instinctively sort of touch these areas? When we meet for the first time, we have a greeting. We look each other in the eye if we are relatively polite, and we see also the colors underneath the eyes. But we also put together our hands, and these are the most brightly illuminated. The palms is absolutely the highest. So what we do when we shake hands is that we press together two bright areas of our bodies, and maybe they interact. Maybe they move some information between us about how we feel, how our health is, how our mental state is, because we illuminate these things to each other. So you see here, the abdomen has 4 counts per second, the tailbone region around 6, the head in general, in average, around 5. But if you move up to the forehead, it's pretty powerfully lit. And if you look at the palms, it's even brighter. A priest came up to me after this presentation a little while ago and said, in Danish we have a word that if you bless somebody, you call it man lyser en velsignelse. And the priest is standing like this, he says. And he said, I bless you all. And this is actually the 3 brightest parts that he is illuminating out to the audience in the church. And maybe that worked in the old days. Maybe he could cure people by radiating the light from his body towards the people in the audience. So I'm just sharing this with you to say that we have only scratched the surface of biological lighting. And a lot of people don't think about that. But I think that we're really getting into it now. We are starting serious research in many areas. We know light has been with us all the time. We know now scientifically proven that it helps us perform better. And maybe it also helps us heal each other. At the university in Wismar, they are doing a study on Reiki healing. If any of you have heard of that, the philosophy behind Reiki healing is not that you are some kind of a blessed person that can put a hand on a sick person and they'll get well, but it's sometimes you are some kind of a conductor where you gather energy from the universe and you put it to another body, which is actually very fine in line with some of these theories. Maybe that's what we do. Maybe we gather light because we are translucent, we keep it inside, and we divert it further to a person in need to help them be well again. So that's actually a test they're doing at the university to see if they can explain something about healing. So maybe we are explaining something about healing, something about aura, and something about understanding each other and the value of transmitting information with light. So I hope you have been inspired today, guys and girls. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and we've been all the way through history up to today. So thank you very much for coming. And if someone wants to ask you a question, yep, more than welcome. Yes. Hang on, I'll get there. I'll just flip quickly back to that. That's the one you mean, right? Yes, this is just 2 cameras standing next to each other. The one is an ordinary camera that takes these pictures, and this is a highly sensitive CCD camera that counts photons. So every spot here is a photon. So we have very, very low intensities. Yeah. This is a flash, yeah. And a pretty tired man being exposed, it seems, but maybe he's been there for a long time. I don't know. So, but that's the only pictures are available right now, and it's difficult to find more information about these things for the time being. More questions? Thank you very much. You're welcome. It's a pleasure to be here. Well, that's what we're here for, isn't it? Thank you.